Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Future of Football podcast on the weekly armchair kickoff. First show in a few weeks, been off for a little while, but we're back.
Yep.
And fortunately, I've managed to coax Kevin and one of my favourite Scotsmen, probably in my top 10, Reese. First of all, Kevin, how are you, sir?
Grand as can be, I suppose.
Good man. And Reese, how are you? Thank you for jumping in, obviously. We were lacking in numbers tonight, and once again, you've taken the baton. So you've made it into my top 10 Scotsmen.
I'm all right, thanks. Happy to help. No problem.
Good man. Right. So tonight we are looking at the talk recently started up again. Now, I must stress this a little bit, is that a lot of the stuff we're going to talk about has been reported a lot in the past. So this isn't a new thing that a certain other YouTube podcaster has brought up and it's like breaking news. This has been talked about a lot. So before he takes all the credit and thinks he's broken internet, he hasn't. He's a prick. But basically, the Premier League are going to be introducing new features from next season for the TV broadcasting. And they consist of a halftime interview with the player or coach, interviews for players who are subbed off, or dressing room broadcasts. And clubs have to choose one of the three options every week. Well, yeah. So, Kevin, I'll start with you, mate. First of all, what are your thoughts on sort of the Premier League trying to find these sort of new ways to change in the way they broadcast their games? Is it just the way of them keeping people interested, or is it just like don't break, don't fix it sort of thing?
Kind of being a bit more interactive, I think. It's like I guess the start of it was when you can send in questions and they'll answer them on Sky Sports. You know, it's just more of that, I think. At least it's not back in the Fergie days. I don't know if you'd be able to do a uncensored broadcast of the United after match dressing room. But I think some of them. What were the other two? Sorry, there's the sub off. There's the
you got a halftime. You got halftime interview with the player or coach, interviews for players who are subbed off, and dressing room broadcasts.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm not sure how good they'd be. I mean, the subbed off one, what would that be? A lot of players just grunt and say, "No, I'm pissed off. I was subbed off." You know, you kind of get some Michael Elise style interviews, I think, off of that. And I'd say most teams will probably take the halftime interview with player or coach.
Yeah. So Reese,
I don't see a huge benefit, to be honest.
Yeah, Reese, let's go through them one by one then. So if we look at the halftime interviews with player or coaches, what do you think will be achieved with that, and what sort of insight will we get from a halftime interview with the players or coaches?
I think when you're looking at it specifically, I think if you're getting a halftime interview, then basically you're getting players right off the bat about what they're doing on the way back out. I have a problem with that, and it's quite obvious. For me, managers aren't stupid.
They're not going to give away strategic stuff, are they? Let's be honest.
I think that, but I generally think that's what these are. You know, I think this is a means to try and ask more questions. Like, well, what are you going to do in the second half to turn things round? But I guarantee the opposition manager will have a means to access these videos. They'll watch it. So I'm like, I find it incredibly naive to do such an interview. I think if you're going to do these, I would just do it like what's. I would do it soccer age style.
Go on.
Like, I don't think it's right. If I'm the one that's freezing, just say. If it's me, just say. I think personally, if you're going to do these kind of interviews, just do it soccer age style. Like, don't ask any like the players who are literally coming out. Just ask players already on the bench. Like, just ask them like, Do they think they'll come off the bench, cause an impact? Do they think there'll be any significance in the game? How do they think the team's played? I don't think they should be going to the manager or a player who's coming back on, because that is literally getting the point of, all right, so what are you going to do in the second half that you're changing the first? Just have a conversation with players already on the bench. It lets them get involved. It lets people understand them. And we'll find out once and for all if these players actually have the one thing that seems to be a claim that goes around these days, that these players are media trained. We will see it firsthand instead of waiting at the very end of a game. At the very end of a game, a player has maybe 5-10 minutes before they speak to a media personality about the game. If you're reacting bang on half time, you haven't got a lot to figure out. It's literally just you're there, you're asked, that's it. It's a good way to think on your feet. It's a good way to display confidence. I just don't think it's necessary regardless. If anything, I agree with Aiden. It's just bringing more shit in that nobody gives a fuck about.
No. Yeah, I agree.
It's like going to the cinema. You already know that you're paying for the movie. You're paying for whatever food you don't want to sneak in, because everybody does it. So there you go. And you're going there already because you're going to see any random trailer for a film, but you're not there to see a film, get food, trailers for other films, and then you're going to sit there and watch an episode of EastEnders. You're not paying for that shit, and it is shit. So they're not watching this. Like, it's just genuine. Like, you know what you're going for. You're paying for what you want to watch. You don't want to see anything stupid and ludicrous that has no impact, no interest, and frankly, nobody gives a shit altogether. This is why English football is a joke. Like, it's the best league in the world. It's just becoming the NFL in terms of over-the-top nonsense. Leave it as it is. There is no point. You're just taking the piss now. Let it be a football game. Let fans watch football. Let the players and the managers do their jobs, and then talk to them after the game. Talk to them before the game. What's stopping you having an interview with a player before the game when they're during training? Like Gary Neville shut his fucking mouth. Jamie Carragher shut his fucking mouth. So why not just ask them before a game? You already walk into training anyway going, you see those guys are playing their training drills, like they're doing the triangles. Let's go and have a conversation. Do that then.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people would get something a bit more out of that than the sort of shit they're trying to sprout off. So let's look at the next one. So, Kev, they're talking about interviewing players who are subbed off. Now, I'm assuming these are going to be pitch side live interviews as the game's going. Surely this is just going to be a reaction that, like Reece says, are they media trained enough to not lose their cool in these interviews? Because if you've got a player that's been subbed off who's not happy about being subbed off, it's not going to be a good interview, but I'm assuming that's what the Premier League wants. They want a bit of reaction from it.
Yeah, I think you'll just get a lot of NPC responses, I was happy with how we played. I hope the team does well while I'm off. But the player who subbed on for me is great, and I'm sure he'll play well.
Yeah.
On my way. It'll be nothing of any interest to anybody. Maybe the only way is if you do get someone. The only possible interesting thing for any entertainment value you could possibly get from one of those is to go and ask someone who's been sent off or something. That's the only anything of media value you could get. The rest is just going to be, I'm not happy I was really subbed, but I was tired, and the guy going on for me is brilliant anyway. Or I was happy with the goal I scored. It's going to be like that. There's no point.
Yeah, Reece, what's your thoughts?
I've got nothing else to add to that. Nothing. I think that's completely spot on.
Yeah.
Just to wind people up as well, because I know a lot of people on this channel are wrestling fans. Samantha Irvin has left WWE. Just a little bombshell for you all. So I'm dipping on that.
You're joking.
No, I've put it on my YouTube as well.
AEW inbound.
I don't think so. It wouldn't surprise me, but I don't think so. I'm just dropping that for everybody.
Sorry, yeah, we're gonna slip away from the future of football chat just for a moment. because that's massive news in WWE. Obviously, yeah, I've just seen on her Twitter account that she's stepping away from WWE.
She'll be fine. She'll appear back in like 6 months. She'll probably appear after the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, it's a work.
But yeah,
she'll be in the.
Here's the interesting thing I wanted to ask: where did this idea come from? Because the funny thing is, right, and I don't mean the idea of the actual interviews. I mean the idea of the conversation, because this is not something you'd expect to talk about on a show. In that way, and I'm not because it's not something anyone's actually physically talking about.
No, so this I saw a tweet from a certain other podcaster and podcast account, and I looked into it, and there were talks about these things in the COVID years.
Yeah,
obviously there was less fans and stuff like that,
which makes sense.
This particular account brought it up. Then it turned out it was actually gaining traction, that the Premier League were looking into these things. Alex Crook, chief football correspondent on TalkSport, got word of it.
What she does.
Yeah, which of all the sources on that shite radio station, he's probably one of the only people I actually listen to.
It's not somebody who's sniffing glue.
No, that he's a genuine, got connections in the right places. So the Premier League are looking at ways for the next set of broadcasting deals in a way of engaging with the supporters, engaging with the fans. And these are some of the things. I don't think, as far as I could work out from like forums and stuff like that, the managers aren't too impressed with it. They don't like the sound of it, and the owners don't think about it.
I would say so, because it's so invasive. You know what I mean? Like, imagine, like, this is actually another thing I just thought about, and this is actually another, like, Aidan made a good point about imagine a player subbed off for injuries or whatever, right? And then there'll just be. But what if it's a club where a manager's actually under pressure from the sack? This is now a chance where the media can rub it in, where they can just go, have you seen or are you aware of rumors that you're like in trouble of losing your job? The media would have a free run at this, and you can't stop them. Like, it's a genuine question that they can ask you. Unfortunately, you're in the odds where you're potentially the next person to be sacked. Are you aware of this? What are your thoughts? Undermine the manager, but also it really attacks their credibility in terms of where they are, their position, and also even somebody who is media trained like a manager, they've got no way of defending that. And this seems like a way that they can do that, and I actually think it would be allowed, which is a horrible shame. Like, I think he's an absolute clown anyway. So if Julio turns up, then he'll like this. But Russell Martin is just a bearded Michael Beale. He's an absolute clown of a football manager, and he will get sacked. But say, for example, he was still in the Southampton job, and this happened, and then he was the first to be questioned. He is doomed.
Yeah. This is a perfect opportunity to catch managers with their guards down. Go on, Kev.
I'll put just put it forward to you. Say I decide I'm a club. I decide we'll do the sub off interview thing, right? And then I sub. My subs are 3 players, 2 of them Brazilians, and 1 guy from Argentina. None of them speak any English.
Aye.
Yeah. Tactic. Yes.
What do the media
you could do it. Yeah, it's a great point, and there's genuine, that you'll have translators, or you've just got this genuine like experts in like mind play and mind games in dugouts across the Premier League that will do that and say no, it doesn't speak any English, you can't talk to this
I think it'd be quite funny if next thing you know you've got a Teams call and someone's just standing there with a laptop and you're talking to Tim Vickery.
Yeah,
I'd be like, I'm all in. Give me a conversation with Tim Vickery. I'm all right with that. At least it's somebody that actually understands South American football.
Yeah, absolutely. So lastly, one of the things they want to look at, and this has been they are done in National League games and some FA Cup early round games that are dressing room broadcasts, but that's without hearing what they're talking. So you're just seeing body movements and reactions. And
I'm all right for that.
I would be okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing before the game and after the game and halftime, like reactions. Go on.
I doubt you'll get many Alex Ferguson kicking Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's boot into Beckham's face. Now, that'd be great media, but other than that, no.
I think what you I think what you get to see, though, and this is something that people will criticise a lot of the professionals, and this is something that's actually really important. If you get that at Premier League level, and then say it translates to a global sense, you get to see which players actually do the job and which ones are lazy. Like, you'll actually see those are actually sweating buckets because they are exhausted from playing the game. Or you'll see the ones that have had nothing in them, and you're like, yeah, we were right about those guys in particular all along. In a way, it's good that you're seeing the inside and you do see like the hard work and the exhaustion, but then you will see those who really don't give a shit, and it's stuck on TV or it's stuck on a screen, however you watch football or however you watch a sport. You can't hide from that as well. There is a pro and con to all of these.
Going back to your point on managers being sacked or managers are pressure, a manager's responses on, I have the dressing room behind me.
Oh yeah.
You know, and you could see a video of that, no one listening and everyone just kind of with their head slumped after a defeat.
That's
and
literally
they can't come out
yeah.
then and say, I have the dressing room behind me because you've seen the video.
Exactly.
2-minute video of everyone just talking to each other while this
spot on. That's exactly it. Spot on. Like, that's where I'm thinking. Like, there's no hiding that, because imagine we were all Football Manager and literally we were under the cosh because our players are shit, but it's always the manager's fault. So we're literally saying that, oh, so you've lost 5-0 today, so how can you respond? But I really want to say my players are actually fucking shit, but they're not. What's actually gone wrong is X, Y, Z. But I'm the manager. I've got to take responsibility. No, I feel like these players are shit. But genuine problem is, if that does happen, is these managers cannot escape that kind of questioning or scrutiny. And the media, because they've got so much power, you know that they're going to get away with it. Like how would you stop them from asking that sort of question? Of course they're going to try it because they've got to get headlines.
Yeah, it's difficult, and
they've been doing this in the NFL for a long time. I've watched the NFL for a long time. What they mainly do is interviews with players inside the dressing room is what they mostly do, and you do get sometimes you do actually get more natural responses from players who after a game, not just reading off whatever dialogue they've been told to read off. So sometimes it's okay, but no one stays tuned in to watch it.
Without a teleprompter, it'd be nice.
They're not going to.
Yeah, I think it's got to feel real. You don't want it to come across as robotic. I agree on that, but some of the shit that even players or a manager says, I'm like, how much rehearsing have you done to this nonsense that you've just said? Like, you're just telling lies.
It's so difficult because they're so media trained now, the players and the managers, and us as fans, we just want honesty and accountability in everything they say.
Literally,
all you get is the same sprouted shit every week. We, as all of us are United fans, we get the same shit every week from Ten Hag saying, yeah, we're part of a plan. We're in a project. The team's behind me. The board are behind me, blah, blah, blah. We just want him to say, you know what, I am a little bit worried about my job, but I'm going to do everything in my power to do it and get it right. And we'll be like, all right, fair enough. You know, we take your word as gospel there. Like, we don't care in the sense, nobody wants to see a manager lose his job. We just want them to be honest and accountable for what they're saying. That's why a lot of people really like Ange, because he's sort of honest in his responses and the way he talks. I mean, I think Ange is a glorified idiot, but I know there's a lot of fans in him in the Premier League with supporters and stuff because his honesty and he just says it how it is. And that's all really Premier League fans and football fans as general want from their managers. So in that sense, and so if we were all, I'll tell you what, I'll add another one that I think all fans would like to see is referees and officials being interviewed after games.
I would do a lot more than that.
What's your thoughts on that, Kev?
They give the VAR. Well, they give the VAR why they've come to that decision. So they kind of almost have that already, don't they? They have a small bit of that at the moment.
But we have to
Referee
wait.
after match.
Yeah,
Oh
we
my
have
God.
to wait. We have to wait.
Talk
Like,
about match.
so the media that run the PGMOL, they have to wait. We have to wait a week normally for a response. I mean, there's a Twitter account for VAR now, and it tweets out certain reasons why. But then we have to wait a week or so for like the VAR audio to be released, or for Howard Webb and Michael Owen to stand by a TV screen talking about like this X, Y, and Z and stuff like that. If you just had a referee at the end of the game going, "Oh, so the penalty that you didn't give, or the penalty that you do give, what was VAR telling you in your ear? What made your decision easier? Like, did the linesman have anything to do with it?" If you have a clear understanding from the referee on the pitch, and then if we learn from that the referee goes, "Oh no, it was all my decision," and or the VAR told me to do this or do that. I think that's just where I stand with it. Is that I don't care if referees and VAR get it wrong. Just accountability again. What do you think, Reese, on that?
I would put referees in chokeholds, but that's just me. I think the biggest thing is more pressure on the referees. I would definitely interview them, but I would put a lot of pressure on them, especially for calls that are, you can tell they're deliberately being like told to ignore. And you can see that there's calls that are deliberately. Referees every single game are either being told not to do something or they're deliberately cheating, and it's been going on for too long. I mean, you look at the Liverpool-Chelsea game yesterday. I can't stand either club, but there was cheating in that game. Like, there was cheating, and it's got on, like, and this is what I was saying there about English football as being a joke. It's meant to be the best league in the world, but it's got the worst referees. None of the referees in English football are good. None of the referees are above average. Like, they're all shockingly bad. And this makes you wonder why the standard of football is not as good, and it's the referees. Because they drag the quality down. The standard of the quality would be a lot better if referees were competent and knew what to do. Because it takes away from the whole important game if the referee cannot do it. So putting a referee on the ball and actually putting them on the stand for a question, it'll actually make them want to do better because they realize, actually, if we're making all these mistakes and we're being pulled up for this shit and we're on TV being asked questions, well, here you go. Now we're not going to get asked. This is why, because we're going to do better. They just won't do it. They should put them on though. They should mic them up as well during games, but I don't think they will. But it's time that something gets done about that.
And I think that's one of the biggest problems that a lot of people have with VAR, especially from a match day experience, Kev, is that the problem is that the people in the stadium don't know what's going on when there's a VAR check. You have certain grounds have the tickers around the ground sort of saying what's what, and then some have the TV screens, but that's all the information they get. So we saw it in I think it was the Women's World Cup in Australia. We heard what the VAR decision was there and then, like they literally said it out over the PA system. So clearly, like the communication between like referees and supporters is like a big thing at the moment. So having a referee put on the stand after a game, the same way that we do players, the same way we do managers, surely that's got to be a good thing for sort of the match going fan and just supporters in general.
It depends on the game, though. How many games do we get that many controversial decisions in? I mean, yesterday it'd be great to ask the referee why wasn't the centre back Tossic, was it, for Chelsea, who should did a Saliba was sent off.
Yeah,
but he wasn't sent off. Why did you come to that opinion? Why didn't VAR tell you not to do this or whatever? That'd be great. But then most games have just yellow. There's about 3 or 4 yellow cards, few clear goals, and you're kind of back to they're talking about nothing. So if there is a big something big to ask, that'd be good. But I'm not sure many people would be interested in hearing the referees. Oh, I gave him a yellow card. I gave him a yellow card for holding that guy, and the game was grand.
Yeah.
So just there's not a huge amount of controversial decisions to go around. That's the thing. There's not many.
Yeah, so I mean, I suppose the idea would be is that we don't want a lot of controversial moments, and I suppose having the referees having the back of their head saying, "Oh, I've got to explain this after the game with all these cameras watching me now," so it will make their decisions a bit more conscious. Excuse me. So yeah, going back to the list that we had before, so halftime interview with player or coach, interviews for players who are subbed off, and dressing room broadcast. If we were managers, all of us, which one would we choose? So I'm going to come to you first, Reese. Out of those three, if you had to choose one, which one would you have? So half-time interview, players who are subbed off, and dressing room broadcasts.
I'd say dressing room broadcasts.
Yeah,
because that's more of the telling story for me. I think the interviews at halftime are just negligible. I don't think they have any significant impact. I don't think they help improve it in any shape or form. It's just blindsiding in the worst way, and you're not going to get anything worthwhile at halftime. So I would go for the broadcast.
and considering we only have about 15 minutes of halftime, taking 5 minutes of the manager's time to interview rather than having them in the dressing room actually giving the instructions, it seems a bit
exactly. And I'd rather be telling my players they're shit and just actually do their job instead of telling the media that my players are shit to millions of people.
Yeah. Right, Kev, which one would you choose? Would you go for the same or?
If I'm the club, I'm doing the halftime interview with a coached player to just tell the media whatever I want them to tell them. That's what, if I'm the club, I'm going to pick that every time. Yeah, though if I'm football fan looking in, hoping that they pick the aftermatch broadcasting within the dressing room.
Yeah.
So hopefully that be for from a coach, from the support point of view and from the club point of view. But obviously it's the club who decides.
No, absolutely. No, I'm probably in agreement, to be honest. You get a bit more of a telling story from the dressing room broadcast. And at least, even if there's not like voice, if you can't hear what they're saying, it's fine. You know, it's a case of you can tell from players' body languages and stuff what sort of feeling they are. And if you, like you said earlier, if a player or a manager has lost the dressing room, you can tell that from a dressing room broadcast quite easily.
I think it's a way that you shouldn't do because
I have to say though,
Go on,
I think
Reece.
to do that, I think if you do that though, it comes across as disrespectful. You know what I mean? If you're doing it at that time when it's a under pressure situation, that's where you're. That's not dividing a dressing room. That's making it disappear even more. I think that's very dangerous. That's why I'm not a fan of the halftime idea.
Yeah. Kev, you wanted to go in on that?
Oh, I was just going to say that, like, it's NFL, but they do have the dressing room interview, and you do get a curse word every now and then from the players, pretty hyped up after the match, like directly after the game. But that's really all you get from that. If they want to continue going down that route for 20 something years, and no one cares about it. So imagine if it's the subbed off player as well. They do an interview. Would that be televised, like live interview? Is that what it would be?
I would imagine it would be. Yeah, it would be a televised as the game's going on. A little box in the bottom of the screen with, like, for example, Rashford would be interviewed if he was subbed off or etc.
Yeah, I agree on that. It would be
Similar to what they do in soccer and stuff like that. They do exactly the same thing. They do a little box in the corner.
That's the approach that I would go with. I think that would actually be good because you're just asking them how they are, and I think that's not bombarding them with stupid questions. I think that would actually be good.
Yeah, asking them is it a strategic change or are you feeling a knock? Like little things like that. How do you feel the game's being played? Blah blah blah, sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the good thing is it protects the players and it doesn't damage any situation and it makes it more interactive. And I think that's what they're missing is how can they make it interactive?
So just for the Nottingham Forest and Crystal Palace fans out there, Nottingham Forest are 1-0 up. Chris Wood scored the opening goal in the 65th minute.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I was talking about it today with a guy from work. I just can't understand how Crystal Palace just fallen off this cliff.
It's because they play Adam Wharton in midfield.
Oh, I forgot that you're an
They
Adam
did lose
Wharton
their
hater.
best player now.
They did lose their best player. But considering they've lost two of their best players, actually, because Anderson obviously went to Fulham as well, and he was a quality player last season. Really good. So it's a shame that they've sort of fallen off this cliff. I mean, I'm not really a Palace fan or anything like that. But no, Nottingham Forest 1-0 up over Crystal Palace, and Nottingham Forest sit in 8th, and Palace are struggling down the bottom on 18th. Oh dear. I don't know how much longer he's going to last as manager if it keeps going that way, but there we go. Right, shall we move on from sport? I think we should. Let's do a top 10 before 10 to finish off. I know this is one of Reese's favourite segments, as he's done so successfully well in the past.
It's good fun.
It's just, I just thought I just need something on this channel, and Keane will understand that all we do is talk about sport and football. And sometimes you just got to talk bollocks for the last 20 minutes and get the guys arguing and debating over certain things. And this is no exception. I don't know if music's your strong point, Reese.
Depends on the genre. See if it's saying fucking Grammy Award winners, I'm gonna be pissed.
No, it's not quite. So right, time to dip into everyone's favourite weekly feature on the channel. It's another top 10 before 10. If you're new, welcome. Here's how it works. I will find a random subject with a top 10 list, and I'll ask the panel to work together as a team and give me a top 10. And this week, I'm asking them to give me the top 10 best-selling artists of all time.
Okay.
Music is not my thing. I will just say
10 names. Hang on. 10 names combined of bands and solo artists collated from total worldwide sales. Information correct as of September 2024. 3 lives, 10 artists. Good luck. And in return for every artist you give me, I'll give you a little fun fact. There you go.
I'll go for. All right then. I'm gonna jump in with my all-time favorite band, Queen.
Queen. Locking it in.
Massively, yeah.
Yeah, number 6. Queen, over the course of 14 albums until Freddie Mercury's death in 1991, Queen delivered 53 top 40 singles, 6 of which went to number 1. There you go. Kevin, do you want to give us one?
Not a fan, but I'm sure over the course of time, the Beatles must be there.
Yeah.
Going with the Beatles. Very good. The Beatles, number 1, Liverpool's own. The Beatles are considered one of the many
great band.
Greatest bands of all time, with over 600 million units sold. So you've got
they're
2.
They're phenomenal. They're phenomenal.
2, and you've still got 3 lives to go. So you're doing good.
I'm gonna go solo artists. I'm gonna say Michael Jackson.
Oh, very good. Very good. Number 2, the most awarded recording artist in history, with 748 awards received over 5 decades.
Yep.
So that's 3, 7 to go. Kevin, go for it.
God. Maybe Adele might be there.
I just want to give you a little word of advice. Naomi in Denver. Good evening, Naomi, or afternoon, wherever you are. No.
To be fair, I put myself in full screen just to avoid that. No offense, Naomi. It's not your fault. I hate Taylor Swift. But I know she's not in this.
No, she's not in this. Are you locking in Adele? Locking it in?
Yeah, I thought she'd be there, but
no, unfortunately, that is one of your lives gone.
She's top. I think she's top 20. I think she's in the top 20.
Yeah.
She is brilliant though, Adele. Like, truthfully, she is brilliant. But I don't know, guys. I'm gonna say Period Tom because he's still heavily listened to now. I think 40, 50 years after his death. I'm gonna say Elvis Presley.
Elvis Presley, very good. Number 3, the king of rock and roll, resided at the estate named Graceland, reportedly worth $400 to $500 million. There you go. See, I never give you facts, and I'm giving you facts this time.
Let's see. So we need number 1, number 4, number 5, 7, 8, and 10.
Yeah, sure. Why not? 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Yeah.
Wait, did we get number 1?
You got number 1. That was the Beatles.
The Beatles weren't off. Ahead of Queen, that's insulting.
Unfortunately, Queen is 6 and Beatles is 1. So you
I know.
got.
I think that's fucking stupid. I'm going to base on activity, but he is very popular. But I wonder if he is up there. But I'm going to say Ed Sheeran.
No, that's another life gone, I'm afraid.
I know he is quite popular, so I wasn't sure if he would be included or not. So that's an interesting one. I'm trying to think who else could.
Think longevity.
Maybe
go back. Or people that had long careers.
See, I would listen. I listen to folk like Van Morrison. I listen to like AC/DC. Like
Well,
I listen to Metallica.
Go down the route of those sorts of bands, but go a little bit older and a little bit more successful.
AC/DC.
Try again. You got one life left. I'm not
Led Zeppelin, maybe.
There you go.
Led Zeppelin's a good shout. Yeah.
There you go. Led Zeppelin, British band and performers of one of the most iconic songs of all time with Stairway to Heaven. It was estimated that in 2008, the song had amassed royalties of over $562 million.
Oh, it's a beautifully written song. Beautifully written song. I'm starting to wonder if Oasis is on this list. Even though even though they're both fannies.
I would say think bigger.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, they're there, but Stone Roses, I don't know. But they are big, but I don't know.
I mean, another huge during the 80s again, maybe Prince.
Prince is a good shout, but he's not in it. I'm going to get rid of the lives, and we're just playing for fun now, because it's more fun that way.
I can see why you've went Prince, to be fair. Prince was cool. Elton John, yeah.
Are you locking Elton John in?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Elton John, winner of 2 Academy Awards for Best Song, Can You Feel the Love Tonight from The Lion King, and I'm Gonna Love Me Again from his biopic Rocket Man. So you've got number 5, number 8, number 9, and number 10 to get.
Can I ask one question? What was the question again? Sorry.
The top 10 best-selling artists of all time.
I'm gonna make myself sick by saying this one, but they were there. Spice Girls.
No, they're not.
Thank fuck, they're not in this list.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Is this just in Britain or is it worldwide?
This is worldwide.
They have got a massive success worldwide though, which is crazy. So
well done, Naomi. By the way, you got that one spot on.
Yeah, Elton John.
One of my all-time favorite artists of all time.
See, I would have said AC/DC, but then you said no, which is a shock because they are huge. But then you've also
maybe.
Oh.
Genesis, maybe.
No, Genesis aren't in the list. Sorry.
All right, I'm gonna go Slash.
What, of Guns N' Roses?
The man's great everywhere he's been, but yeah, Guns N' Roses.
No, that's not in the list.
This list can fuck off.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll get number 8. Number 5
is it male or female?
Number 8 and number 5 are both female.
Single or part of a group?
I'll give you. They're both solo.
Madonna.
Yeah, number 5 is Madonna, the hyper-ambitious material girl with a career spanning 80s, 90s, noughties, 10s, and 20s. She is the top female-selling artist of all time.
I'm trying what other amazing female singers have been. So obviously there's Janet Jackson. Like there's one other amazing.
I think newer.
Oh, okay. Lady Gaga? No.
No.
Fucking hell! Why is she not on this list? I doubt
Katy
Rihanna's
Perry
on
or
there.
something.
No Rihanna, no Katy Perry.
What?
I said Rihanna.
Do you want to lock Rihanna in?
Yeah.
Yeah, Barbados-born artist since the beginning of her career, Rihanna has sold 60 million albums and 215 million digital tracks worldwide.
Rihanna, you don't know who I am, but I've just said no to you, but I apologise.
Yeah.
So who else do we need?
And fun fact, very quickly, they're in talks today. Her and her boyfriend, A$AP Rocky, are potentially buying a stake in Tranmere Rovers.
Tranmere, yeah. I've seen that.
Good evening, Trevor. You've missed the football chat. We're now on the fun bit.
I burst out
It's
laughing when I seen
the
that.
popular thing to do now to have a football club.
So we've got
Yeah.
the Beatles, we've got Elton John, we've got Queen, we've got Rihanna, Madonna.
You've got 2 bands left, and they're both from England.
Are we
if that helps.
talking, or like, in terms of like major success? Are we talking like late 80s, 90s, or recent?
One of them had their biggest album in the 70s.
All right, okay.
And the other one was sort of 60s/70s. There you go,
60s/70s and the 70s. Okay.
Naomi gets it, Trevor. Naomi gets it.
Sports
and-
act. Are you trying to turn this into full on WWE? Don't punish me. I'm only kidding. Okay. 60s and 70s
Music's
bands.
just not my thing.
Oh,
Maybe think of one of the biggest albums.
yeah.
all
Hold on.
time.
I'm just gonna. I just want to look at a lovely song that's in my Spotify playlist, if you don't mind, just before I call it out.
If you start Googling like the best
No,
album-
I told you I'm on my Spotify, and
Alright.
all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna say a song.
From a quizmaster of your fine etiquette, I wouldn't expect you to cheat anyway.
I'm just gonna name one of my all-time favorite songs, and if I'm right, then I know this band will be in it. So I'm just gonna say the song "Rhiannon,"
That
produced
means
by
nothing
this
to
band. Is one of the bands in this Fleetwood Mac?
No.
Fuck off with this list then. Fuck off. I'm not interested anymore.
Are they American as well, Fleetwood Mac?
I think so, but they're still great. I don't know why they're not on this list.
I did say the last 2 were English bands.
I don't think they should much English, to be fair. I can't think anyone else is English then. I don't know.
So one of them
Trying to
had the biggest album, one of the biggest albums of all time. And one of them has won 3 Grammys and a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award and was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Ooh. Okay. Most of the stuff I listen to, unfortunately, is American. But
I have no idea.
I refuse to quit because
You've got until 10 o'clock. The show's we've got an hour slot. You've got till 10 o'clock.
Yeah, we've got 13 minutes.
Yeah, loads of time, and I'm giving you all the lives in the world. This is just more fun this way, just seeing you struggle. Evening, Trevor. By the way, it's good to see you, and always Naomi. Great once again on last night's show. And yeah, don't be surprised. I am hosting 2 nights in a row, just while we let Reese stew and work out the last 2 names. Yeah, last night I hosted on the Red Devils Roundup. You can go and look it up now. It was a very good show with myself. Stu made a little appearance. We had a debut with Mark, who was very good. And we had Deck, one of the funniest guys on the channel. Just the way he looks and everything is about. Go on, Reese.
This is just a band I listen to, but I don't think they are. I don't think they're British. I think they're American. I'm not sure. But I was going to say Echo and the Bunnymen as well, but I wasn't sure.
No,
I can't think of anybody else.
Never even heard of
it. I don't quit. I don't quit.
Are you humming a song, mate?
He is. He is. I'm just trying to remember it in my head.
I'm humming a song that references a certain singer in it.
The Who,
That's not
mate.
even what I was humming.
I'm singing something else.
The Who would have been a great shout, but no, they're not in it. I love the Who.
That is mad.
Yeah.
How are they not on this list?
I don't know how close these lists, because a lot of these names that we're naming, you'd think surely they'd be in the top 10, but no. And Reese isn't ready to give up.
No, I'm not.
No, you've only got 2 names to go, and I've got all the time in the world. We've got 11 minutes before we're ripped off the air, but I'm assuming Keane will get fed up.
Pink Floyd.
What was that?
Yeah.
Pink
I was trying to
Floyd,
remember if they were UK or
Yeah.
not.
Pink Floyd, English punk rock band. Pink Floyd's 8th album, The Dark Side of the Moon, from 1973, sold more than 30 million copies and is one of the best-selling albums of all time.
You can hold me in shame. You can hold me in shame for forgetting Pink Floyd because I was listening to them earlier on as well. And I forgot they are from the UK. I thought that's that. You can hold me in shame for that. You can hold me in shame for forgetting Pink Floyd. But that's the problem with the music, as you said, is you can think of so many names, but they're not on there, and you're like, just get wrecked. Like the fact that like the likes of Motorhead aren't on this list says a lot, and they're successful in the US, like so successful. Like Metallica, like the lot, like how are they not on this list? Guns N' Roses, how are they not?
Because I think a lot of it's radio plays. A lot of it, because you don't get a lot of radio plays for Metallica on like general radio stations.
But
there's a lot of these names.
Just great.
No, I know. I completely agree.
Because like even like Van Halen, you're not going to get.
We said the Rolling Stones.
No, we didn't.
You didn't say the Rolling Stones.
And they're not on. Surely they're on this list. If they're not, there's something wrong.
Yeah. Rolling Stones,
Right,
number 10. English rock band, have won 3 Grammys. Yeah, and a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award, and they were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. There you go. It's so good to have Trevor back.
He has no impact on my life at all.
What, Trevor or Dan James? Or both?
I'm tempted to say both, but Dan James.
No, well done, chaps. I mean, you did lose all your lives pretty quickly, but it was more fun to see you guys try and get there. So there you go. So the top 10 again, number 10, Rolling Stones, number 9, Pink Floyd, number 8 is Rihanna, number 7, Led Zeppelin, number 6 was Queen, number 5 was Madonna, number 4, Elton John, number 3, Elvis Presley, 2, Michael Jackson, and finally, number 1, the Beatles.
I'm still going to take the proud of all the names I did mention successfully. That's all that matters to me.
That's all you can do, mate. And next time when I get you on, and you'll
good fun.
That's just what it's all about, you know.
I like these sort of things. I think they're good fun. Like they're a good way to test the brain.
All we do is talk about sport and football and how bad Man United are, and it's just fun to say, you know what? I want you to name me 10 chocolate bars or shit like that. I mean, I've done one with you where we tried to work out the beer and cider.
Oh, that was hard.
Yeah, you and Evan really struggled with that.
Some of them were ridiculously bad though. Even though you'll admit, like they were fucking shocking.
Well, it wasn't sales. Let me see if I can find it.
Absolute joke. Like most popular beers or ciders, whatever it is in the UK or something. I was like, the fuck?
Yeah. Where are we? Oh, I've got a show written there. I haven't even finished it. I have to go back to that at some point. Oh, God, where was it? No, I can't find it. But either way, yeah, it was. Oh, no, here it is. Top 10 beer and cider brands isn't the best selling, but a survey conducted asked people for their favourites. And these were the most popular. So you managed to get Guinness, Strongbow, Copperberg, Heineken, Magners, and Corona.
Yeah.
But you forgot about Budweiser, Kronenberg, San Miguel, and Stella.
Yeah, we went in weird tangents for some of the ones we named. It was quite funny.
And there you go. Keane dropping in a bit of breaking news for you there. UK Parliament are going to review the Newcastle takeover.
All I'm going to say is...
Under the rug, Nothing will come of that.
Swept under the carpet.
So we've had 2 bits of breaking news during tonight's show. We've had Samantha Irvin leaving WWE, a massive loss to WWE. I'm assuming that's when we'll get... Yeah, no, fair enough, Kev.
Very, very woman.
Yeah, she's a very, very talented woman, I think is what Reese is trying to say.
Talent, yes. Yes, especially.
Who's the guy from... Who was it and is now at NXT?
Oh, that fucker with the weird haircut.
Yeah, he's going to be back, I assume.
Oh, yeah. You can forget quality Raw then. That'll go down. Yeah,
it's a shame because Raw was getting quite good.
It's going back to 2.5 hours for Netflix in January.
Oh, is it? See, the annoying thing... Sorry, Kev. I know we're talking...
2.5 to 3 hours is what they're aiming for.
What's annoying me at the moment is that TNT or Discovery Plus, they're still saying it's 3 hours, but they do that talking Raw bollocks like immediately after, so they're still claiming they've got a 3-hour show.
Yeah, that's the new third hour is the Talking Raw thing. But it still means you get the 2 hours allotted of the actual product. You're just getting the extra review.
More breaking news.
I'm assuming that you are there looking at it in the worst way, Trev.
And this was Trevor, his input on the top 10 chocolate bars earlier on. Willy Wonka. Not a real chocolate
I know
bar.
about
Completely fiction.
I used to walk down. I used to walk down the hallway in my school, and people would shout, "Mr. Kennedy," because my second name's Kennedy. I never watched wrestling and didn't know why they were doing it.
I would absolutely do that to you, but
that would be him.
For years, I did not know why people were doing that. Had no idea.
I'm so sorry for you. All I'm going to say is thank you very much for saying that.
It's brilliant.
Because you're about to hate me.
Very quickly, a bit of other breaking news, I suppose, is that Forest won the game 1-0.
They did indeed, yep.
Very boring, very dull game by the looks of it. 20 shots each, though. So. We're just filling time here, chaps.
We are indeed, and now we're about to make Kevin lose the plot.
Do you have a walk-on song for me or something coming up?
No, that's Mr. Kennedy on screen.
That's Mr. Kennedy.
Oh.
That's who people.
No, they've just photoshopped someone's face on my body as well.
Keep dreaming. Keep dreaming. I mean, to be fair, I wish I had some muscles like that. To be fair.
Oh, Hornswoggle.
I was never a fan of this because, to be fair,
it was so degrading.
I like Irish wrestlers except Becky Lynch, so I found this a bit of a shame and an insult to good Irish wrestlers and Ireland in general. Like they're just bringing in leprechauns, but it just went a little bit too far. But
I saw some of his stuff with Chris Van Vliet, and he said that he genuinely enjoyed a lot of it.
Yeah,
but obviously under the man who should not be named.
Yeah, exactly. Conducted. Especially for somebody like who's generally like that height and that shit. Like at one point it was funny. Like at one point it genuinely was funny. For like maybe like the first year and a half, it was actually funny because you're a kid. But then when you get like a little bit like a bit of a mindset, and you're like, hold on, this is just because everyone already has things they like or they don't like at that age anyway. But then it gets flooded down your throat, and you're like, nah, fuck this. No, he wasn't Irish. He was based on it.
Yeah.
Fuck off, Catherine. I'm not wearing a Man City shirt. Fuck that shit.
No, he was American, but his character was obviously Leprechaun Hornswoggle.
Because it was based on
Finley, wasn't it?
Fit Finley, yeah.
Yeah, Fit Finley. Right. There we go, chaps.
Sounds like character in
fucking Man City shirt.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I watched the documentary.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I watched the documentary, the Vince McMahon documentary, and
it's so good.
It is brilliant. It really was brilliant, and it made him look like the absolute prick that he is.
I like the fact that he tried to shit on it because he tried to get it stopped from getting released, even though he agreed to it.
Well, he agreed because he thought it was going to be a documentary about how great he is, and then it turned out, oh no, we're actually going to use this as a platform to break you in every way possible. And it worked because as soon as the allegations came out, actually went public, he said, no, I'm not doing this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you would, but there we are. No, Kevin, Reese, really appreciate you guys coming on tonight. And if you enjoyed the show, guys, please like and subscribe. We've got we've got another episode of the United Road out tomorrow with Callum and a special guest. And I believe we may have a talk of the league this week, and then there'll be a Red Devils roundup at the weekend. So from us, thank you very much, and we shall see you again.